All right, guys. So I've got a
Hello.
very interesting people in this interview, and as you know, I interview many decent projects. And one of the things I like to do is I like to tell my audience of 27,000 followers. You know, obviously I've grown in this space quite quickly about the decent projects out there that want to tell their story. They want to share their community knowledge and kind of build a good education in terms of what these guys are doing and what their projects are doing. And one of the great things I like is I like interviewing great people. And today we've got a very interesting interview with Monart, with Pauline and Malo. I met Malo at the Malta Blockchain Summit. He came across very sincere. I understand also Monart won an award just recently, I think in Paris, as far as I'm concerned. So they're doing some very interesting things in this space. And one of the things I like to do is I like to tell people about the interesting projects and what is going on. First things first is this is not financial advice. This is just purely educational. It's an educational interview. Obviously, the ICO industry, we all know in the industry, it's very topsy-turvy right now. But obviously, the good prospering projects will survive, and I'm thinking Monart will be one of them. So, Pauline, Malo, welcome to the interview. Let's get this underway. Tell me a little bit about yourself, Malo, and then we can go on to Pauline, and she can tell me a little bit about herself.
Thank you, Dazaret, first for this great opportunity to share Monart, the project, and this large art space we want to disrupt, and we'll go into that later on.
We will.
I come from the tech industry, tech content and art. Having started multiple startups and projects along the years. Since 10 years, I produce digital artists. Right. So I'm very well into this art world.
It's definitely a team human thing to have this art and this community that you're breathing with Monart. But yeah, great. That's great stuff.
Yes, and we met great artists. We produced impressive artworks, interactive artworks. And I had this idea since a long time to create an online platform. And that's where we met.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm based now in Beijing, and before I worked for the bank, and I always consider that art is also a good asset to invest. And also because in Beijing, now in China, the art market is growing. And I managed a huge place, 798, named 798 in Beijing, the art district. And I am connected to art. And we met, I know Malo for many years, and we have the same idea that art, we need to build something, a huge platform online and offline, and also because I manage a huge place in Beijing art district, and so it's really good idea to do something.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a community of 27,000 followers on LinkedIn, and a lot of them are team human people. They're storytellers, they're artists, they're investors, they're bankers, they're everything. And, I'm always meeting people all the time, here and there. And one of the things I like to do is, especially I think with what Monart is doing, it's building a community. Would you agree around art, Malo?
Yes, exactly. The idea is to build a large online and also offline community, as we will open to start with 3 big art galleries. In Beijing, we already have the huge art centers that Pauline is running.
Right.
We'll open also one in Paris and one in New York to have
so
also
you're expanding, you're spreading.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a very international project. It's really, Asia, Europe, and America.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah. And so the community also can meet in those physical places during events, exhibitions, but also it's a large online community and it's a way to connect people to art, have art lovers, discover great art, discover great artists around the world that we are scouting everywhere.
We'll go into the questions shortly. Pauline, do you want to add anything to that?
No, what I would like to add is if you love art, you want to share the knowledge, emotion. The reason why that the community is really important for people to share.
Yeah.
So let's go into the questions. Obviously, this is a very reassuring for my community as well. My followers, you know, like I say, Team Human is following this interview. I'm sure they're gonna enjoy, and we'll get hopefully a lot of exposure around it. So my first question is what made you start? You know, let's go into the fundamentals of, you know, Monart. We need to understand. Obviously, people don't know what Monart is, you know, and they might be a little bit lost in terms of why Monart on the blockchain. Why don't we just sort of build a gallery and leave it as that and bring all the artists? Why blockchain, and why did you decide to begin this project, Malo?
Yeah, the art industry today, it's a very large industry. It's $63 billion a year. But the difficulty is it's very closed, it's very opaque, it's very limited to a number of very, very wealthy individuals who can benefit from the huge growth of the contemporary art market. And what we want to do at Monart is really open this, make it more transparent, also with the blockchain.
Right.
And also with the blockchain, invent innovative business models. Because the way the art world works, I mean, it's the same since 2 centuries. Very close, very reserved between a few people, a few institutions, a few curators, and we want to open this to allow everyone to participate to the growth, because most people do not know that for the past 20 years the art market has grown tremendously and beaten all stock exchanges around the world.
Right.
But today you have to be extremely wealthy to participate to this growth.
I mean, you've got to be wealthy, but you've also got to have a very big sort of mainstream sort of news sort of coming around in this market. Because obviously people haven't heard art in the blockchain. They may have heard of sort of galleries and they go to the, you know, normal art places. So this is a whole new dimension we're kind of tackling in this area. And as a business person myself, would you agree that that's where your challenges are, sort of thing?
Yes, it's challenging, of course. But the idea, for example, is to be able to sell not only artworks for people who love it and want to have it in their homes, but also sell shares of artworks or share of collections. So you can have, for example, you can invest in shares of emerging European artists or confirmed Chinese artists, and like this participate to the growth of the art market. And you can do it not by investing 5 million, but you can start with 1,000 euro. I mean, you do a bet on this collection that you think will really be relevant and acquire in value, and you participate and you invest. So it's new way to work with art. You can love art and buy it, but you can also invest in art.
And also because,
I like that, yeah.
Yes, and also because the blockchain could facilitate the transaction in the transparent way. The reason why that we're going to reach out more audience. So facilitate the transaction is really important. The access to everyone. The reason why that the blockchain is an amazing system to do something different.
No, I agree.
Access to everyone.
I agree. And I think, you know, I think I know where you guys are going with this. I know that you're leveraging the blockchain, and I think it's an amazing project to basically, you know, share art on the blockchain and obviously facilitate transactions like Pauline is saying in terms of storing, you know, what people's work, the artists. So my second question is what sort of community are you building around Monart? You know, how are we going to now engage that community together, like Pauline was saying, in some sense of transactions and people producing their work? How do you do that?
The idea is really to implicate the community, participating to the choice of artists, the choice of art, voting, be interested, help artists grow, help artists with contacts. So really, it's an art-based community sharing value, appreciation, emotion, also as Pauline mentioned, and to have a large worldwide art community.
Yes, and we empower people to join, empower people to join the community.
That's really important.
To be active on the community.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think empowering people, you know, into this community is very important. And obviously my followers watching this interview would probably agree that this is something very important, that you cannot leave people out. You have to engage them in the community in order for them to understand the concept. So, you know, what is it Monart wants to prove in this space? Tell us a little bit about your project. Tell us a little about what you guys are doing, sort of thing.
We really have a big project to open and disrupt the art market. So it's vast, it's international, and we are progressing quite well. In Malta, where we were together, this incredible summit, we met many investors that were, I mean, extremely positive on the Monart project.
And you won an award in Paris, right? Did you win? So
yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
A month ago, we won the ICO Award 2018, and it was at the Paris Stock Exchange, and
really
it was with a unanimous jury. So really, we were extremely proud.
Congratulations!
Yes, thank you. And it's true that it's major, and it makes Monart stand out as a project because we have a very original STO. I mean, we are a security token based on a large art collection. So it's not a standard utility token that did have a lot of difficulties the past months to raise money. It's really a very original and very promising, and we are working on the STO to start in a few weeks.
Pauline, would you like to add to that? Sort of, you know, you won the award, and your project seems to be gaining a lot of reputation through what Malo's saying, you know, and he seems very confident. I also seem very confident that the art industry is quite a big sort of industry. So would you like to add anything to how you are now proving yourself?
Yeah, because from the day one, we are really the global startup, because we are in Asia, in China, in Europe, and in America. That's mentioned by Malo at the beginning. The reason why that, and also we create something innovative that in Asia doesn't have yet. So we have the unique project now, especially in Asia, with the blockchain, with the art, and the art market is really growing now in Asia.
And your reputation is growing as well, right? You know, you've won an award. That sounds very positive in the crypto community. Would you agree? Your reputation is sort of growing.
Of course, a lot, and recently also we got a very interesting analysis, a financial analysis from Enigma Securities in London. They analyzed our STO, and they did a whole page on Monart, and their recommendation is buy.
That's pretty good, guys. You know, I like what I hear here, guys, and the audience who's tuning into this interview. I think, you know, a lot of guys that want to see good projects, they want to see good projects built on the blockchain, be reputable, you know, won awards, have a good team like, you know, Pauline, Malo, and the team together. And I think this is how ICOs are really going to sort of stand out in the future, I think. My next question to you is, you know, what are you guys trying to make a difference in this space? You know, what is Monart trying to do in terms of leveraging this sort of blockchain technology, and how do you make a difference in what you guys are doing?
Yeah, it's really, I mean, we plan to develop a new world for art, based on trust on the blockchain, on transparency, really bringing things that are lacking to the art industry since always, and really innovative in the way to present artists. We want to go much further, discover each artist's universe, not only sell one product, but really have people discover artists' universes, their philosophy, be very interesting, and because the community will be interested to know more, to understand, to participate, and that's a big change with what is existing today.
And also we are innovative, not only what mentioned by Malo, but also we launched the STO and not the ICO.
Which is going to be a new thing developing, you know, in the course of few months and few years.
Exactly.
What would you say in terms of you're saying you developed an STO? Can you sort of grind that down and tell us about it, Pauline?
Yes, exactly. The security token offering, there are different types of security tokens. There is the revenue-based, asset-based, or debt-based. We are revenue-based, which means the token holder share large revenues, in two types of revenues. First, the revenue from Monart art collection. With half of the proceeds of the STO, we buy a large art collection, and 100% of the profit of the sales of this art collection goes to the token holders. Plus, second source of revenue, the token holders receive on a regular basis a percentage of the profit of transaction on the marketplace, and that makes a very large amount and a growing amount. So it's a very interesting token with large revenues.
We'll go into that in a minute. You touched upon content creators, artists. What is it? We understand now that this is going to be a platform built around sort of art, and that you want to sort of use this to put people's work and represent them. How are you trying to put people and blockchain together in terms of using? I want to go a little bit more into the fundamentals here, so the guys watching this video could understand how it works for the community. How are you trying to embed the two together?
Yes. There is the token for the STO. It's an ERC20 on Ethereum, so that's quite standard and usual. Now, each artwork is on the blockchain using an ERC721. It's a different type of token, which is called non-fungible. So for people who are not familiar,
they don't know what that is.
Yeah, exactly. So there are two types of tokens. You have what is called fungible tokens and non-fungible tokens.
Right.
Fungible tokens, to explain, it's token each is the same. For example, if we use a 10 euro note, I can give it to you. If you give me another 10 euro note, it's the same thing. I mean, it's fungible. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's the same.
And people can use that token, can they, to purchase you know, your tokens?
Exactly. They can use to purchase art. They can use to participate to an event, or they can just keep it and wait for the revenues. So that's a fungible token. Now, for unique assets like an artwork, each artwork is different from the other. So each one is on the blockchain, secured using an ERC721 non-fungible token. So that's the magic of the of those token. So each artwork is really secured and on the blockchain. And if people want to resell it, they can prove the authenticity, the origin, using the blockchain and the proprietary.
people have a stake in this platform Monart, which is your tokens that people can use to obviously post their art and sort of leverage the community like that. I just want to talk about sort of liquidity, Pauline. How do you sort of measure the liquidity? And tokens are based on that, right?
Yes, exactly. Today most exchanges work on utility tokens,
right?
but all the exchanges are thinking of opening in 2019 asset based tokens, so security tokens. So in 2019, as we finish our STO, many exchanges will exist and being able to list the Monart token to make sure there is liquidity and an easy conversion of the token.
And how do you
also allowed to trade easily the artwork, because with the token you can trade easily on the platform.
Yes, also.
Yeah.
Which is important. So content creators, artists have a stake in what Monart is doing, right?
Also, they participate, and people. We want this to be easy to use to start with. So we will allow, for example, an artwork to be paid either in euro, in dollars, in Bitcoin, in Ethereum, or in Monart token. It will be open to all currencies.
Right. Okay. That's really reaffirming. So tell us a little bit about where you now are with this area. How do you sort of identify a problem in this blockchain? Every project needs to identify a problem. They need to solve an issue. I meet many projects. I'm in many events. I'm starting to speak at some events as well. How are this project Monart trying to solve a problem in this community?
Yeah, today, as we already discussed it a bit, but today the art market is very closed, very opaque. Nobody knows how the prices are defined, and we really want to open this, to make it transparent with the blockchain, to make it a lot more easy to address, to check, to value, and also create with the blockchain new innovative business models. That is great with the blockchain, and that's very difficult to do without, is inventing those easy to use, based on smart contracts, so very trustless, completely secure transaction based on the blockchain, and really bring the art world to new kind of people.
Yeah.
And also we can we aim also to democratize the art investment, because before, to enter in the art investment require a lot of investment, but with blockchain, with our community, you can enter into art market with a limited resource, limited financial resource.
So you want to democratize. Let's get to the issue. You want to democratize art. Yes. You want to build that on the Monart system. Is that correct? Yes.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. Correct.
I think that's very reassuring, and I think that's what we need. We need that trust. We need that sort of security, and I think Monart is doing great things there. So what is your roadmap, coming to the sort of middle to the end of this inning? What does your roadmap look like now for the next 6 months? What is going on with Monart? I'm sure there's going to be some interesting happening.
Yeah, a lot of things.
Doing this.
We are working on the MVP. So the first version of the art, the community site and the marketplace will open before the end of this year. We are in parallel starting the private sale for our STO in a few weeks. We are finalizing the white paper at this stage, and the public STO will be first quarter of next year. As well as in parallel, I mean, starting with the opening and selection of the galleries in Paris and New York, and then expanding the team, who's already 20 people, but we will even need more people for such a large project. So a lot to do in the coming 6 months.
And also we already opened an art blockchain center in China. Yes, in Beijing.
So what's how do you so let me get this right. So how are you sort of trying to tackle the world? You know, you've mentioned, just for my viewers and my audience to know, we know that you're expanding, but tell us a little bit about, you know, they may be a little bit lost sort of thing in terms of how you're trying to make this sort of worldwide. So could you sort of break that down?
Today, the company is headquartered in Paris. We have a team in Beijing already. We have one person in New York, and we will grow the three places with the development team is in Paris, and business development, art relation will be in those three centers for Asia, for Europe, and for America. And we also have a subsidiary, 100% subsidiary in Malta, because we are using the very favorable blockchain environment from Malta. And so the STO will actually be run from Malta. And we already also have a partner and our team there that also we will grow.
So let me get this with the that's great, and it's good to hear that with the community, because obviously this interview is all about the community, driving exposure to Monart, seeing what you guys are doing. How are you leveraging around the world to say you're connecting with Beijing, you're connecting with New York and Malta? What is the community like in terms of how they see the art, and what is Monart trying to do to basically build this into sort of a worldwide sort of platform?
Yeah, you see that art is a very...
How are we connecting it sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting, because we are already starting to purchase art for the Monart art collection. And we buy from artists all over the world. I mean, it can be, recently we bought 3 artworks, 2 from South Africa and 1 from Mozambique. And it's also,
oh, wow, interesting.
Yes. So, and it's beautiful art. I mean, and it will touch people all over the world. So really, it's sharing new artists, new creations all over the world for the community to see, to appreciate, and then also empower the community to bring new ideas, new artists all over the world, because you have talents really all over the world.
Exactly. And because we have already many artists coming different origin, different country. So in China, we have the Chinese artists, and we have many different countries. Yeah.
I definitely agree. I think art is definitely growing into a sort of a you know, would you say $1 billion market? I mean, how do you see it now the next 10 years? And where is Monart going to be, say, from now to say the next few years' time, would you say?
We have a plan where Monart in 5 years takes already approximately 2% of the art market worldwide.
That'd be great.
Growing,
Go on.
It's an ambitious project, but we think we have the idea, the tools, the team to really develop very quickly in this environment.
Yeah, we are confident on that.
You seem very confident. So yes. It's a privilege to interview yourself, Malo and Pauline. It's very interesting to get into the fundamentals, and maybe we should do a follow-up in a few weeks or a month or 2 time and see where you guys are sort of leading to. Would you want to do something?
Of course. Yes, very good. We'd love to.
Hopefully, I'll be on 30,000 by then, so it would be even more great to share it to my followers, sort of thing.
Excellent. Yes. Very good. Well, thanks a lot, and we're looking forward to the next interview.
Yeah, that would be amazing. And one other question I want to ask you is what just the final thing is your partnerships. Who's your sponsors, and who's your sort of your partners that you have on board, and how is that looking in terms of liquidity and investment sort of thing?
We have many partners, advisors in crypto, in art, in general management of the company. We are also signing partnership with large art institutions like auction houses, museums, galleries, and all this is growing and helping also expand the community worldwide.
And Pauline, would you like to add to that?
Yes, of course. No, well, he has already mentioned, because we are really international team and advisory board. So we are really the right people to around us.
There you go, guys. So a privilege to end this interview with a bit of a spark, but also a very sort of educating interview to learn about what Monart are doing. You can find them on, what is it,
www.monart.art, because we do art.
Yeah. Oh, so you did it. You took the IO and you put the art.
No, I didn't want.
I like that. I like that. That's
we're not a tech company. We're an art company. So monart.art.
Confirm, my friends.
Yes.
All right. So guys, look, everyone that sort of followed this interview, do check out what Monart is doing. Hopefully in a few weeks, we'll talk about their developments. And it's a privilege to share this interview to my followers and learn a little bit about what is going on with art, what is going on with blockchain, how the two are emerging together. It's the first kind of project that I've come across, and certainly it's going to be one great project because they've put their neck on the line to tell us about what is going on with Monart, which I find very refreshing while this market's a little bit down, but also enlightening, because we'll see what's going on, say, in the next few months to a year's time. So it's a privilege to interview you guys, and peace. Thanks very much, Pauline, and thanks very much, Malo.
Thanks, Nazaret, and talk to you soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.